Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper S Viperland, and we are back here in Great Ace Attorney. We're gonna hopefully finish the first trial tonight. Trial go long, trial be good. So, yeah, we're just gonna continue there. I'd saved during the intermission, so I didn't want to, start it up. We just had something show up in the courtroom that will hopefully change things. But since they prompted me to save, I kind of figured there was going to be more than 2 or 3 minutes of it. 22nd November, 1:14 p.m., Supreme Court, Courtroom 2, also Case 7. How's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing tonight? Hope it's been a good weekend for you. You ready for Monday tomorrow? I know honestly I am. I'm well rested, so. Yeah, we got all the new objections in, so every objection we heard last week is in the bot. So, cool. That's always good. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. I forgot I was going to have to do his voice again. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law. Wow, perfect, Sora, thank you. Other than to testify. Yeah, they would. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ah, you're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. Has it? 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency... I am most grateful. Oh, it might have been the 7th. It might have been 7th who did the one. I'm not sure. Oh, no, it was... Okay, we did get 2. Stupidly error appropriate. Yeah, unfortunately. Who are you exactly? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English? Also, so I was digging through the extras menu just while I was waiting for the stream to start. They have a full music player, including unused music, versions of, specifically versions of, main themes, prior versions, test versions. That's pretty cool. They also have a full, playing of every character's line, so I guess I could record my own objections, too, now, if I wanted to. So that's cool. Sorry, I maybe hit pots with a Grahatia tweet while I was setting up stream too. So that's pretty cool. There's a bunch of stuff in the extras. I didn't look at all of it, but seems like there's a bunch of extras here, which I like. They didn't have to do that. I was just here for the games, but hey, you're gonna give me extras too? Hell yeah. It's Josiah Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical facility and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the... yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Yeah, she's been fetching the thing. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Kurar and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Kurar? What's that? Never heard that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. Oh. There's too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Giselle's report has been entered in the court record. Report detailing an unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at Yume University. Goodbye then. Good luck. Alright, well. Let's, stupid English guest. Let's take a look at that in detail real quick. Poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Effects per instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Out of entry. The above-mentioned effect occurs when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have applications as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest causes result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocations. We could technically, I mean, this gives full body paralysis, like, and numbs the body. We could use it. If only we could stop it from also killing people. You've had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guests any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... Prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Good slam. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. Look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Oh, yes, but only in that one direction around that one person. Nah, it's his Shoto power. That's Potts explained it to us last time. The same way that, like, Ryu can always have that happening. It's just his power. It's just how it goes. Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, Consul, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Well, I mean, it's definitely the book. It's the only new piece of evidence, so, like, yes! It's that. Miss Josiah Brett, we understand you are studying under Dr. Wilson at Yume University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as Curar, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. Objection! What? What complete and utter nonsense? Curar, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curar before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct, which means no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Curar. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Stupid, screechy voice. Order, order, order! Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report, authored by the visiting research student from England. Man, clearly I need papers and I need to be able to just shuffle them sideways now. Curar has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. Seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. Claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Curar suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain. The other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of duress is evidence that Curar was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Full explanation is extremely unpleasant. Yes, it is. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. Type that. There you go. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous! To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. It's the true nature of this deadly Curar poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Console, actually contains this terrifying poison? This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, we must... Still the best line. It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. Well... Also, hey Grim, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. She's not wrong. We stole her work. But, like, we're trying to not get framed for murder. A murder that you clearly committed. So maybe your argument doesn't hold water right now. This isn't a scientific conference. We're not saying, oh, we did this research. So kindly stop murdering people and sit down. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? I love his nervous looking. It really is a loathsome act, wouldn't you agree? Objection! Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. Excuse me. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the Great Empire of Japan is breaking the rules. What? You do realize that things exist whether you know about them or not, right? And that is not a rule. Hold on, I forgot to honey my tea, which is fine. I've been having more just unsweetened tea lately, but I forgot it was Sunday, so I'll probably need the honey just for the throat, not for the sweetness so much. Mixing that before the tea gets too cold to actually, do it. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Well, don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Jeez, lady. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. Time for the games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? Hmm? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Well, I mean, if he had actually read the court record, he'd know by now, but that's okay. Even the judge is like, damn. But if the judge had read the court record, he'd know too. Goodness. All you have to do is just be like, oh yeah, it occurs when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. You don't drink it. Goodness. Whatever's the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no cure? The bottle was clean, is that what you're saying? So now we're going to have to prove some... But she just drank all the evidence. So either there was no poison in the bottle. If the poison was in the bottle, she would have had to have dipped something into it and poked him. Or she would have had to have known he had a cut in his mouth. Or perhaps the poison wasn't in the bottle and she came prepared with, like, I don't know, a fork in her bag and just... And that was it. But the fact that he's coughing all the time, well, if his coughing and coughing up blood does not match with the poison, now that we know what the poison does. I had assumed there was overlap before, but now it doesn't add up. That's not what the poison do, so... You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Oh no, we didn't concisely. We missed the bit about it has to be into the bloodstream. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most grateful and gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. It does! Just read the book you were given! There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. I suppose, if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Isn't there? Well, I mean, she drank all the evidence, so... There can't have been. Because otherwise she would have kneeled over dead. No, read the note. Oh. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water.
Shut up!
Thank you, Ark. Well timed as well. Yeah, that one's in there too. The culprit did put Kiara water into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious? Fool, are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw. Also well timed. Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? Need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Okay. The defense truly intends to assert this claim. Okay, so he's probably not going to ask us. So I get the feeling we're going to need to prove how it entered his body. My instincts still say fork, but we'll see. Yeah, that doesn't help us any. He had just had dental surgery. He had an open wound in his mouth, and she knew that. The hell am I overthinking this about? It was right there. Duh. She knew he had just had dental surgery. He had an open wound in his mouth. That's how. Okay, cool. Then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Okay, so the answer to this one is the report. But we'll need that one later.
Yes.
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research paper. That is not a valid explanation. No? After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. Let's find out Jet used rescue to someone with MSQ roulette. Ah, good times. I never really get to, mostly just because by the time I'm like, oh, I could rescue them. I forget what the key binding is because I never use it. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Consul. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? It's under practical application, right? No, special characteristics. Pray. That makes sense, yeah. I've been hearing a lot about this Curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Consul? Well, sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Consul. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum. In this research paper here, under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? Hey, welcome to Viperland and Chat. How you doing? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effect whatsoever. What? Short case in half a stream? Yeah, not in this game. Oh boy. Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Curare's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... That's a real swan! Rapscallion! Well, Ryunosuke, turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer? All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book, some facts he read in your book that you wrote about the poison you administered. Shut up! I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Yes, of course, that's... Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw. As even your brain has managed to deduce, QR is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric whatever. I went past it. Wait. Ah, yes, well, of course. Gas track suckers? What are they? So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand. No. Order! Order in the court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Sure, and this is slightly before the time where you got your wisdoms removed. So, like, for example, just try to go as light on the TMI on this one as I could. One of my bottom molars here had a root canal ages ago, and nothing good happened later. So eventually I had to get what was left removed. And even in the modern era, this was like 5, 6, 7 years ago, they yoinked that out and sent me home with just... There was nothing to close that wound. I was able to, for several days until the gum healed over, literally touch my tongue to my jawbone. They were just like, don't suck on things. Like, don't like use a straw, like suction. Don't eat food like rice or peas that could get stuck in there. Good luck. So, like, if that's what they did to me in the year, like, 2018 or whatever, I'm pretty sure they had an open wound with whatever they were doing. Modern science is great. For what it's worth, I didn't feel any pain from it, so there's that. I was still awake for it, so I felt lots of jarring things, and I definitely, that was the dental procedure that made me realize next time I take my glasses off so no blood splatter gets on them. But nonetheless, no pain. So that's good. Can't stitch it at all. Yeah, like, I get it. There's not much they could have done about it, but like, if that's what happened to me, I'm pretty sure we could easily be like, yeah, this guy had an open wound. Like, you know. Give you a shot of whiskey. Yeah, exactly. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, this QR poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. Man, give her credit. She is good at bluffing. She's good at being like, huh, clearly I know everything, but like, they're stupid. Bet you I can. I mean, I don't even think she's good at bluffing. I think she's just racist and thinks they're all stupid. Actually, I was giving her too much credit. She's not good at bluffing. She just truly believes they're too stupid to figure it out. Yeah. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Oh. Is her mask getting bigger? Also, it's going to be so good to break her. So good. What's this? Welling up inside of me. I've never felt like this before. The sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense. Almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Hell yeah. Holds it further. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? I, I love the build up to it, but it still doesn't sound like the most forceful objection out there. Like, I get it, it's fine, it's great, love it. But like, this build up, this rage burning in my soul, objection. Like, yeah, he's still too polite. You know very well that there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must prove compelling evidence. And we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Curare?
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. Fatal difference? She's like, oh no, he figured it out! I love that perspective shot, though. Toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside of the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. Use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she... Yeah, the judge may not know everything, but when somebody's like, I've got a point to make, he's like, okay, I want to hear that. We need to come to the actual end of this, but you do need to have proof. You can't just say something. He's not dumb, he's actually inquisitive, and he wants to get to the truth of the matter. That's awesome. As much as it was really fun to poke fun at the old judge, it's nice to have a not dumb judge for a while. I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. It hurts, but it's also like, yeah, that's our judge. What do you mean? That's fair, yeah. Don't worry, little schoolboy, you'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Welp. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! That's still, I think that's my favorite animation, is him just getting shot. This English woman, she just smashed a bottle in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Though I'm a big fan of his weak-ass slap, where he just looks at his hand like it betrayed him.
Oh, no!
Oh yeah, maybe the judge changes, but for now at least it's nice. VA Final Fantasy 14. Oh, is his VA in this game? And I do play 14. I'm very excited for Dawn Trail. I'm taking kind of just a break now to catch up on other games pre-Dawn Trail, but I definitely play it. Do you? What do you mean? And also, hey, it's a wonderful world. How's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Yeah, if they change the judge to a stupid one, then I guess I'll regret it, but I'll stand by saying that it's good for now. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. Because hell is coming in 3 days. Fair. I've been faffing about with RuneScape, but I haven't finished the 16 crossover, and I need to do that very badly. Because I need that Torgal mount. That is important. Very important. Hold on, guys. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Wow. She really just views everyone here is actually inferior to her. Yeah, the 16 crossover. The Yokai Watch one is coming back, but I have everything from the old version. I think they've added one or two small things. I think they're like portrait frames and stuff, so I might nab those. But I got everything from the previous event. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy, but I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. Ew. Let us not forget. I mean, 100 heroes, you gotta get them all? Hell yeah, of course. When we've proved beyond a reasonable doubt that this poison exists, she knew about this poison, hell, she wrote the paper on it. Oh, yeah, no, the fact that it's a real swan only makes it better. Like, the hat is amazing. We knew that we proved that she knew about the dental surgery, was well aware of it. Like, and we know that she just destroyed the evidence. So, like, every single thing points to, yeah, she did it. Like, even if there's no evidence of poison in the bottle anymore because she broke it, like, I feel like we proved beyond a reasonable doubt that she could and likely did do it. We still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is this little schoolboy. Yes, correct. Oh, absolutely. But yeah. Literal criminal activity. Yeah. No, you killed the victim that day using Kurihara, and then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He does, but it only makes beating him in every universe that much better. Like, yeah, he sucks, and I committed to doing his voice in the first game, and I hate it when the first case goes super long like this one, because I hate doing his voice, but it only makes beating him better. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now... Is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In your head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the only thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Excuse me. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. I saw, felt. Every color. You about to invent color photography? I'm just messing around. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There has to be, yes. So we'll figure it out as we go. See, hear, feel. Exactly, yeah. So I've been a scholar main since I started 14, But given, my branding, the name I've used since literal elementary school in all online capacities, and the fact that they're adding a class named Viper, I have to become a Viper main. I have to. This class was made for me. Literally. Watching the heckin' keynotes and everything, and all the reveals, and hearing Yoshi P just go, Viper! It's just like, this is meant for me. I have to. It's perfect. So I think I'm going to swap to a DPS main, but I'll probably keep a healer in the pocket anyway. Probably still Scholar. It's my favorite, but maybe I'll mix it up. Picto looks really cool. I will definitely be leveling one, but I think I have to make Viper my main for this expansion for these stupidly obvious reasons. Q times be damned. I mean, I love the concept of Picto. And if they hadn't made a class named literally Viper, I'd probably be a Picto main, or Picto secondary. Beastmaster? Okay. Yeah. I'm excited. I will have to play as much of it as I can quickly, because then it's going to be Kineticon after it releases. Probably asked and somehow. Yeah, Astrologian is a good old classic. Honestly, I might, if I'm feeling like a different healer, it'll probably be Astrologian for me. Like if I try to mix it up a bit. Broken for solo. Oh, I hope so. Yes, I absolutely hope so. The whole, if you're going to do a limited job, you damn well better make it broken for solo. Actually, Cosmo, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? I'm checking the Bosha book starting on this queue. Oh darn, terrible. I hate Bosha so much. I hate it to all of the depths of my... I enjoyed Bosha. I'd be happy to go back there. I'll make sure to stock up on things to be tankier before I do, but otherwise, yeah, I'm okay with that. That does... You're right, that does mean we'll have to delay MSQ slightly, but I'm okay with that this time. Queue for limited jobs. They should, but they just call that queue Party Finder. But I agree that they should. I am very much in favor of that, but I feel like their response is, you can use Party Finder, we're not going to allocate resources to that right now. But I agree they should. It would be really nice. It would help a lot of people try it out a bit more. Because a lot of people will gladly queue for something, but won't check Party Finder. And I'm one of those people, so I know. Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been... What? Is that a real... Okay, hold on. Is that a real word, or do they make that up for this game? Petty, also bothersome or persistent, especially in a petty or tiresome way. Yep, I have not heard it before. But yeah, it is a real word. Okay. It's not one I've encountered, but it seems to perfectly fit. It's British. That checks out. That definitely checks out. Makes sense for the game. Oh, yep. Still just seems wrong. Yeah, I learned a new word today too. Still gonna say it's been bothering me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. Here somewhere, the clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... I mean, logically it's that. A Welsh fox to learn English from. Yeah, that's popped up a few times in other games recently. I am down for more Welsh characters. I haven't encountered many in video gaming other than Nia, but I'm a big fan of Torchwood. And the protagonist of that show is very Welsh. So, yeah, hit us with more Welsh characters. I mean, it's got to be the Bloodstain, right? But why? Why does it have to be the Bloodstain? Oh! because he got shot and some blood shot out? But if he was turned around, it would be on the other side of the plate, not there, judging by where the bullet hole was. Just make sure I'm not missing anything here. Red A1 sauce, yes, I know. Oh, Ronnie and Mio, yeah. Yep. Because Ronnie is Mio, yes, that I knew. Elden Ring was pretty Welsh, yep. I did forget Ronnie was. Yep, that is very fair. I knew she was Mio. I forgot she was Welsh. It's so obvious but so dumb. That's fair. Oh, I've missed some damn obvious things. Don't worry. I have a power, and my power is missing the obvious. That is what I do. That's true. It's no 11037. Yeah, that was subtlety at its finest. I mean, that was the first introductory trial in that style of game. I get why they wanted to err on the easier side. I understand. But it really did paint every single character in that game as stupid. Do text like this. I'd have to learn how to do like a better a Welsh accent. I'd have to. Like, I could read it straight, but like I couldn't. I'd have to do the accent, and I'm not good at that at the moment. Oh, oof, that's no good, yeah. That's just Dragon Quest, also true. Well, the water bottle is gone now, so... It wasn't there after they took him away. Oh, it wasn't in the picture either? It was just his memory of it. Yeah, if you turn him around... I mean, it's gotta be that. It's gotta be. I'm gonna assume that that's the blood splatter from her shooting him, landing on the plate before she turned him around. I'm just gonna assume that's what that is. I could be wrong. We'll see. Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day. Wait a minute, where are you going with... I love her stopping her own defender. Every time. Where are you going with this little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on. It was a splattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. Okay, so it was what I assumed. No, that can't be the case. First of all, I didn't shoot him. But if we went with the assumed story you're talking about, still no. Take a look at the photograph. And the relative position of everything there. Yeah, like, the mask has movable eyes, which is great. Make blood? First I heard of this. Yeah, I just assumed because he was on... If he was shot here... that when he was facing the table, it would be on the right-hand side of the plate, but I guess because her angle of I don't know. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It checks out. I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front. There's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Ketchup, of course. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Josiah, Brett. I beg your pardon. This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you'd been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood splatter on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there any blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector, the blood man! Show the court! Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. Well, no. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! Got shot again. For like the fourth time in this case. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust with the Japanese. Jeez, you're racist. Damn. Almost as racist as Joseph Joestar. I'll never forgive the Japanese. I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. 3K cold steak. Delicious. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch, but I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. A plate of steak has been entered into the court record. The meal Miss Brett ordered for lunch was removed from the victim's table after the incident. Is the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, well, yet. How does the steak stay up there when we turn it upside down? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe? No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what is it doing there? Oh, we covered this the other day. Wonderful. He's a Shoto, like a fighting game protagonist, and just like Ryu can always have his headband blow in the breeze, so can he. It's just the power. It's the inherent Shoto power. That's all it is. It's just inherent to their being. That's how he does it. Barring that, pocket fan. Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. Heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bullion. God damn it. Alright. Alright. I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... Certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. It's from the Hoei era, too. That would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in the juices, as well. Look. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order a steak at an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. One coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. Alright. Presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? Bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? Yes. There's another clue! Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastinations in this trial. None of this has been unnecessary, you murdering wench! Sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. Wow! The old judge would never have said that sentence. Ever. Holy crap. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found? Well, I mean, we know it's under there. Hopefully the game understands.
Got it.
No, Counsel. I'm afraid that won't do. That was ambiguous at best. Okay. You must do so knowing this is the penalty from... Okay, so that's our first penalty, but that's... Okay. Mistake over and over. No! Okay. Let me... Oh, so okay, so I had to hit... Okay. Gotcha. So they didn't say I could hit X there. Go to the best. Yes, this is a several-day-old steak that was preserved from the crime scene. But also, you have a point. That does not look like it was cut with a fork and knife. That definitely looks like somebody just went, ow, ow. Yes. Okay, well, now there we are. Yes. Okay, just... Yeah. Yes, coin. Yep. This was very useful when I first found it.
Got it.
There we go. I am a little peeved that I didn't realize you could press X there. Good gracious, that's... Come on. What on earth? Ahoy, arrow one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Tasty.
Shut up! Squawk! What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I do love that the mask just morphs in shape, size, eye holes. Physics need not apply to Ace Attorney. I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what that is, but I want no part of it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat. That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction. Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? They nailed the style. They nailed the style, and they nailed the, like... They clearly had more tools at their disposal. They could make things more animated, but they kept the, like, the very pixel art style of, okay, we'll have them blink and we'll have, like, one thing move between, like, 2 or 3 frames. Like, Naruhodo's idle pose of just his eyes going nuts, where, like, nothing else is moving but his eyes. Like, it keeps the minimalistic animation that the pixel art had, while still giving them a little bit more wiggle room to make those animations a little more fluid, a little more grandiose. Yes, all of the animation budget went to the bandana. This is correct. These are facts. This turns out to be relevant to the case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel? A rare Hawaii Koban just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it could belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... that guy, right? Yeah.
Take that.
Obviously can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Ratsute, Kaguryo Korikuta-san. I am so good at Japanese names, always. As in Mr. Cucumber something. Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the... Oh wait, no, there's a flashback. Of course it is. All of them are. All. Do you think there's anyone here besides maybe Judge who isn't? Then this Hoei era Koban. Do you mean to tell me? No. Please, why would Korikuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes.
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korikuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. That's fair, yeah. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. This is by far the longest trial one. I'm loving it, but holy crap, I'm glad we didn't try to, like, see it through to the end last week. We weren't making it. Can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. Oh, yeah, some of them are definitely, like, hidden enough, and some are so obvious. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch. I haven't played Spirit of Justice yet. I've only played 1, 2, 3. We just finished those. And then we stopped to play Ghost Trick, and now we're playing this one. So, like, those are the only ones I've played. I want to do the Apollo ones after these. We chase down the real significance of this Koban. We'll find that it's a key element in this case. Yeah, just finished it. We did Ghost Trick between finishing the OG trilogy and starting this, so that was my first time playing it. Had a great time. Just wrapped up that one. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun is set in this Rasute shop owner's existence. Wow. This courtroom sucked so bad that I was forced to lie. Nobody's going to trust me or believe me. I was thinking of ending my life. Whatever. Something else has come up, so you gotta testify. Be that it is as it may, Korikuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this Koban? Nice catch. Oh, no, it stabbed him in the foot. That's not his hand. That's the one, the very exact one that it is. The resplendent, splendiferous holy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself up the ground and lighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? You seriously won't believe this. Oh, not sure it was dropped anywhere. I found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoet treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. BP should look horrified. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing? Y'all gonna look to me for that, aren't you? Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right, the secret undercover operation. Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. That's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. Excuse me. Seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. This was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but The identity of the person who stole and hid Korakuta-san's koban is all too clear. What? 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 Is it? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Korakuta-san's koban and hid it under the stake? I don't know. Wasn't him, wasn't him, wasn't him. He was at the restaurant. Wasn't him because he was put there to investigate it. I mean, it could have been him, but... Definitely her. I mean, if it was under that stake, it'd be one of these two, right? I don't know if you would have had a chance. I also just feel like blaming her for everything.
Take that!
Nope. Yes, seems like a likely candidate for koban thief. No, come on, Ryunosuke. Huh? You shocked me, Kazuma. Not as much as you shocked me. No one could have approached the table unnoticed. Even if they're a crazy fool, you couldn't have missed that. I'm not sure you should be calling Korakuta-san a crazy fool, Kazuma. You I was calling him a crazy fool. Ah, maybe I'm on the wrong track here. Damn it! He can penalize me? Let me hear your opinion on this matter again. Okay, hold on. Just in case I screw this up further. Him?
Take that!
Nope. So if it's not them... then it's either him and he's the thief who's been comically stationed there, or it's one of these two. I guess it could be the sergeant, but like... it's not him, he's truly shocked it's there.
Take that!
Him? Oh, okay. Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant, yes sir, no sir. What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that koban, did I? I am the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido is the mastermind behind all this. Blame the child. I like to think the only reason the judge isn't sweating is because he's got like a sweatband under that. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. The baby's the mastermind, I swear. He ordered me to get pictures of Spider-Man. Oh. Oh, jeez.
He might actually be dead.
Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Yes or No, sir, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Okay. Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe. I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflict remains in place. And I've heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. And so you're stealing things at the restaurant? Place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Oh, yeah. He sure did chomp through it then. Yep. No knife for him. Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his koban. Yes, sir. It was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time? Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Baby and toddler jail? Definitely, yeah. Ow. Maybe. Sorry. Indeed. The theft of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. I mean, if you're not thinking, I guess, yeah. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. But nonsense, is it? As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you're free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Really good luck, everyone. And good day. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly. Something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Of course there was. Something didn't quite add up. Good luck, everyone, and good day. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over. Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time. It's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Maybe you can if you mean. She announces such an idea stands it. Yes, I'm thinking if you say you're very into that information fit. Yes, I'm right. Well, she said they're exposed an undeniable contradiction. Going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? Can't quite tell on that one. I mean, I feel like I could probably present any one of these three, but my gut is telling me... It could be this one. Like, I get what they're going for. We'll just see if I've picked the correct evidence. Nope. Oh, maybe. Okay, gotcha. Whenever the music doesn't stop, I second-guess myself. The photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes. Go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what exactly, Consul? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could ever contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at this steak, in particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Oh. Looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry. Torn between her appearance as a proper English woman. If she could just be like, you know, he's right. I was so hungry I bit into it without a knife and fork. If she could just say that, she might be off the hook for murder. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Heard enough, you irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course, dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks on the steak have for her. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Now at last, all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. Most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. Except that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? It's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been what? Just because it hasn't been shown yet doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. Objection! That's absurd. This trial has run several hours already. It has. And you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it. I I don't, but there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. If that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair?
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this stake with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korakuta-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put your coin under, in fact, your own stake? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier of the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Attention!
But that makes no sense. The plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest the sergeant switched the two steaks over. You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stake and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you, so yes. It did what had to be done. Unbelievable. However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform, that is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah. Oh, you're getting good. That's correct. I feel like I can't nail a voice for him, but hopefully he's not a recurring character. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually in the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat can't have the slightest bearing on this case. No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem to you, no? Oh, you're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see the plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. Quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. The side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson was a clear splattering of blood from a gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Excuse me. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you. Here's the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. Seems pretty noticeable from here. The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look!
Yes.
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's true, she's ruined everything, but yeah. That's right, Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Oh, well, we killed the swan. Nothing of value was lost. Outdone by a Japanese... by a Japanese schoolboy. No, no, no. Ah, crap, it's still alive. Oh, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh! That is... And there's just chicks everywhere. What do you mean vipers or... Geese suck, okay? Geese look pretty from a distance, and they suck in real life. And if you disagree, you've never been close to a goose. Also, it's a swan. Sorry, I keep calling it a goose. It's a swan. My bad. Canadian geese still suck, kinda. Swans are the worst. Still, the goose is cooked. Yep. Geese will chase you around. That is a swan. I was calling it the wrong name. Canadian geese still suck. But swans suck worse. That... Please excuse my little outbursts. I love the concept that there's just baby swans under there just being pooped out all the time. Like, swans are just preppy geese? Absolutely. Yes. Preppy, more aggressive geese. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me, that was amazing. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. Oh, cool. Wonderful. That's fine. I'm glad those are far less common than they used to be. I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. I did nothing. Goodbye. It's fine. I stand by saying that I never gave out mod powers with the assumption that, with the assumption of responsibility. I gave out mod powers because that was before VIP was a thing, and it was the sign of these are people who've done a lot for the stream. It was never meant to come with responsibility. I never expected to have spam bots or whatever. It's less likely than it used to be. There were definitely times where we'd get like 2 or 3 a day, all the time. So wow, it's a good aim on that one. It was I who took the professor's life using Curar. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water, because Curar is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. He placed the steak I'd ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in a chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. Plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. Decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curar in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There were 2 guns. Yes. Then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. Then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun. Well, yeah, it was a decent spur-of-the-moment plan, but she still got caught. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Oh, okay. Your Excellency. Yes. I wonder, might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Crap, she's getting off scot-free, isn't she? Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. Oh, she could just vanish. Awesome. Why didn't she just do that from the table then? It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This cannot be. Taketsuchi Aoshi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student. You better start getting used to tough opposition. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? Yes? This insult to the Aoshi family name will never be forgotten. It's okay. You'll never bounce back and be a competent prosecutor, so it doesn't matter. Nor will any of your descendants. You've become conceited with the age, Consul, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Well, 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Ouchi clan will never measure up to the Naruto clan. He knew. He knows. Is that a prediction or a curse? Is he the reason? This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Yeah, no comment from the judge. Yeah. Obliterated an entire family line. No, didn't obliterate them. Made them weak and powerless. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. The Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits. What it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asuki. Yes. After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. Do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. SBU, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes. In you, I sense, how can I put it? Unusual potential. Very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. Ah, delicious sushi. But yeah, also, clearly it's been a few years. They've had time to, learn and adjust a bit, but it's still newish, you know. It's time to deliver my final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Yay! Ah, of course, it's not confetti, it's cherry blossoms. Nature's confetti, one might say. Yeah, that was a long first case. This court is now adjourned. I'm sure the next one will be done before the end of the stream, though, right? 22nd November, 2:46 p.m., Supreme Court of Justice Defendants Chamber. Can't believe it. Can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha ha ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large suriyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out badly. You'd be seen guilty of murder. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Father? Ah, yes, of course. I'm not sure what that is as a meal, so hold on, let's see. Takoyaki. There's gotta be something fried, right? Something fried. Japanese dish that is prepared and served in the Nabemoto style consists of meat, which is slowly cooked or simmered at the table alongside vegetables and other ingredients. Shallow iron pot. Okay. Just like a one pot meal, kinda. Sure, there's differences and whatnot. Yeah, one pot meal. Okay. Looks tasty. I mean, all the pictures on Google look good. Sugar and soy sauce, and you dip it all in raw egg. Yeah, raw egg, not so much my jam, but yeah. Speaking of Mikotoba, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it's I who should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Even if it was safe to eat them here, I'm just not a fan. I don't even do runny yolks, so like... yeah. Even if it was perfectly safe and there was no worry about cooking it, I just don't do raw egg myself. But, who knows, maybe the way they do things there, and the way they cook things there, maybe it works with different ingredients. Like, I don't like predominantly mayonnaise stuff, but you put a bit of mayonnaise on like the bread of a sandwich or a burger, you know, I could agree that that adds a bit to it. But I'm never, like, I don't enjoy like mayo-based salads and stuff. Like, once it's a little bit too much mayonnaise, But even I can agree that something I don't like in large quantities can be good when used in something else, so, you know. Yeah, soft-boiled's about my limit. And even then, I actively eat it first just to get it over with. So, yeah, eggs are one of those things that people like in such wide varieties of cooking that I accept that clearly runny yolks are delicious. They must be. People love them. It's just not for me. It ain't my thing. Give me hard-boiled, give me omelets, give me scrambled, give me deviled eggs. Oh boy, give me a plate of deviled eggs, and I will eat happy and fart horrendously for the rest of the night. But man, I loves me some deviled eggs. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? Fried eggs and fried salami on toast? I do like a good fried egg on like a burger, like a Western burger, where they do like, maybe like burger, cheddar, barbecue sauce, fried egg, then either bun or sometimes onion rings bun, when you really gotta go extra fancy with it. And by fancy, I mean not fancy at all, artery-cloggingly delicious. Never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, crispy onions. Yep. True. Sometimes onion rings, sometimes crispy onions. Either one kind of works there. Your turn, Asobi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world in science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. You know, pretty sure there's other pieces of media that might disagree with the high and mighty importance of England. Like, let's say, I don't know, RRR, maybe? I swear I'm the spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? Giselle Brett, I mean? Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit after all. She admitted everything in a court of law. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future for Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hasunaga! It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case somewhere far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments... Excuse me. They can't invoke a consular court just like that. Yeah, I mean, he's very good with that sword. And, you know, I'm sure he'd never... I mean, he's gonna be a lawyer. He'd never use it to murder someone. Just, you know, point him in the way of justice. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our government's making a secret agreement about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. So after all that, all we managed to do is make it so that we're not in jail. She suffers no repercussions whatsoever for murdering someone. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case for a foreign student committing murder very seriously. Are they? I'm sure she's going to go home and they're immediately going to try her instead of go home and be like, wow, that must have been really tough for you. Do you need a drink? Do you need to rest for a few weeks? Do you need a vacation to a different foreign country? Do you want to take like an afternoon in Paris? They're definitely going to put her immediately on trial, for sure. I'm positive of that. So very sure of it. Sorry, drink. It's all going to change from now on, is it? We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil. This era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... You're right, this is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. I mean, let's be honest. He's the person... I can't say he's the person in the Ace Attorney series most deserving of disrespect, but he's up there. He's just a whiny, ineffective prosecutor. He's not actively evil. So there are, by default, people who actually deserve the disrespect more than him. But, you know, it's kind of funny seeing him get disrespected. It is great seeing him taken down a peg, but he's not objectively evil. He's just a prosecutor, that's it. But he's also a really whiny guy who acts all high and mighty, so it's great taking him down. Sorry, once again, it's springtime, so the temperatures are like 60, 40, 30. It went up for 30 from 40. 30, 50, 60, 75, 30. And it just sends my nose crazy. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to prove you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Also, could you... Isn't that a health hazard, bleeding on every... Whatever. Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes. Thank you. So, Josiah Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Honestly, if she knew damn well she was never going to get caught, she might have done it just to do it. Who knows? In her mind, there was no way she was getting caught. Excuse me. So she might have just done it because. Or maybe not. I don't know. Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today. Ah, I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. Not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you out today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. You have a natural talent for it, for being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat. Never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Alright, what do you mean? That's the point. Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? A good table slam and a firm point. Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make choices about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in, even then, well, it's not something that anyone can do. It's a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Ah, true, a shiny badge to show off to others as well. That's true as well. To the Swan, so we had to pay. Nah, Swan deserved the insults. All Swans do. Let's look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stop believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stop looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious. What is... You're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. Arrange some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotoba, Satsuo-san, who acted as my assistant, Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. Woohoo! Exactly halfway through the stream. Took exactly 6 hours. The completion of episode 1 of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures from its opening chat. Well, no, not exactly 6 hours, because we ended early last time. But still, exactly midway through today's stream. Alright. Episode 2, then. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Start playing from the start of this episode? Yeah, that would be nice.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath.
Yes.
In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words.
Yes, the man, the myth. The reason the game didn't come out translated for so long.
Is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Yep, Herlock Sholmes. 9th January, 6:37 a.m. On board the steamship Burya. Oh, hello, anime.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
Ah, science gun. Time for science.
This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait.
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What?
I thought that was the lighting. Is his face actually that way?
Cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you? And where
Definitely.
have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock
It is
Sholmes.
1,000,000,000% stupid how copyright is, yes.
You must have heard of me.
I agreed in all ways. My head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. I know nothing of him other than the design and what we just saw and the copyright stupidity, but like, yeah, I'm ready. Wait, I can't move. Oh. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So, you wake up now, hmm? Ah, we had to drag you out of the wardrobe. Not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You... Ah, you found me then. Ah, we found you, and now you pay. Wait, what did he say? Oops, I missed the one word. Criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe? Sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, Hey, you're finally awake. You tried to cross the border on this boat, yeah. No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that? Oh. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? How? You pretend you do not know. You are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin. It was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think Man, the first time was bad luck. Now it really just seems like somebody's got something out for him. Like, who could I frame this murder on? This poor schlub. This guy. Really, you don't think I have to know? Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. Well, yeah, Mr. Wrong Place and Wrong Time. Wow, 2 in one night. They're getting more. Look at that. Cool. Oh, what was the previous one? No! Kazuma! It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It's really something else when they brought you the luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. Thought I was gonna die. Yes, still can't quite believe that. Really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Also, who throws somebody's luggage like that? What if there's something, like, breakable? Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you can find yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? Don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what would be done, that would make her guilty by association. Best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. Now it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't you write keep out or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England. Together! We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. Another one, shockingly, yeah. No, I'm not a murderer. You said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away in the ship, but murdering my best friend... No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san. Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. There is something I would like to ask of you, too. Those eyes. It looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. Suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? I found him. The cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. I mean, it looked pretty damning in the last case too, and that wasn't us. Also, why would we kill our best friend? Cause of death is still undetermined. I don't know how he died. The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. It's true, yes. Huh. Man, it would be a shame if somebody pumped poison through that air vent or something. I don't know. Like, I'm sure it's not something that obvious, but like, if you're like, there's no possible way anyone but like you could have killed him, it's like, I don't know. I'm already seeing at least one other way somebody could have. Can anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far in this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. I mean, he was already dead when Satsuo-san arrived at his cabin, I wonder? I knocked. There was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, it was Kazuma-sama collapsed on the floor. The white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. No idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. Wish it wasn't the case, but it's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. I've told you everything that I know. It's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No. That would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you. But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? Imagine we'll find out as part of this case. It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I, that you want to become a lawyer yourself? Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. I never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level. If you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Okay. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. He wanted to change the Japanese legal system. He thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes, then. It's darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away in the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep? Well, yes? So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed. Well, yes. No, it sounds unbelievable, really, I do, but it's the truth. If only I had woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. For some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Man, if people just said the things they were thinking... Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Again, just like the last case, you know. But, see how that worked out. Kazuma, I just don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. You can't allow that to happen. Sorry. Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. Now I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? Going to investigate. Going to find out exactly what happened here. Going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Oh, did he just slam us? Oh. Alright, well, what the... That was a Susato takedown. Susato, what? What martial art form is that? Going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already? What you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. But, like... I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. That's the only one, I guess? This is the paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember really working hard to make it. But I'll never forget how Cosmo reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it. So we used it anyway, and it worked. Don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. You can see the remnants of the glue we used to stick this over the wardrobe doors. Although it wasn't proper glue, of course, we didn't have any of that with us. So I pulverized some rice into a paste to use instead. But to a stowaway like me, every single grain of rice represents precious rations. That's why I spread it as thinly as I possibly could. I couldn't bear to waste any. I do have a number on it. Personal student number is engraved in the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as a UMA student in the university. You may not come in, they say. Of course, you can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere, but then I forget not to forget that. Of course. I don't know, this?
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly. Thought so. Cosmo always put this in place whenever I went to sleep in there, just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled helplessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Got a case to look into. Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me. I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right! Conjuring tricks. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Good to see how we do investigating in this game. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death! Okay, seems fairly standard. So obviously... Susato-san, about this. Sorry, Naruhodo-san. Oh, okay. But we don't have time to waste on anything else. I got it. It's fine. Let's find clues. Gotcha. Alright, well, you know, it is tradition. Move. I'm in handcuffs and under house arrest by the crew. Not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say that I'm stuck in this cabin, for the time being at least. I should focus on investigating in here to see what I can find out. Yeah, just had to say. We did all those. Cool. Alright, examine time. This is, yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? This sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? In the interest of cultural research, obviously. No. Suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? But whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Sure, you're careful to look all around using left and right, aren't you? Let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. Suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose it's not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage on your own secret hideout. Trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe, and last night was no exception. Because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Ah, good, you get a check mark over things. Hell yeah. Very nice. Useful. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator, the hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it shouldn't be connected to. Surely it should be connected to the outside. It's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough or something like that. Suppose. Maybe that's it. This is where dear Kazuma-san would have sit whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. Looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hey, yeah. It's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? Alright. I won't read it. Or Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either, but in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Yeah, especially if it's an incomplete entry. I would say read that page, but don't flip pages. Well, I guess not though. Later, perhaps. Very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away in this vessel. I was brought in on board inside that case. Ah yes, I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than the Susato takedown. We've already endured 2 of those. The books have fallen over on the shelf, look. But have all toppled the same way. What's this? Statue of some god of the sea, although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mowed down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Cosmosam's doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. And perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Isn't that tampering with a crime scene? Oh my god. Well, that's one part of the crime scene tampered with. These are the rules of passage for travelers aboard the SS Buhura. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Oh, ink bottle's not it. Did Kazuma write that before he died? Looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. Suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments. Was he? Sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? Pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Hello? What's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he? Notice the man too, have you? No idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall, suspiciously tall. Oda-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. Don't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. Indeed, is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press X on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. What do you think this is? Looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever this thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. This is such a beautiful color. Looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener for a kimono. But I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark besides it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It's the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Excuse me? Excuse me, do you have a moment? This is a critical point in my investigation. Okay. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings! I hope I haven't kept you long. Ah! What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. You know. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. Ow. How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps. It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There's no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. No, I would never do that to Graha. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. With the whoosh sounds, too. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. See, I don't hate Crystal Tower. I hated Crystal Tower being the only Alliance raid. And I know that there are people now that complain Alliance raids take too long. Fine, don't queue for them. That's easy. There's other queues that are shorter. Cool. I like being able to queue for Alliance raids and have it actually be pulling from a table of Alliance raids instead of pulling from 2 Alliance raids. And if it pops into Crystal Tower, cool. Those are fun. They're quick. They're easy. And they need to get done. Those are the only story relevant ones, so I get it. Always there to help some sprouts through it. But it's nice to be able to queue up for Alliance raid and get, Evilise raids, or even better, near raids. I've seen people complaining that they take too long. It's like, fine, don't queue up for Alliance raids then. Sorry you got used to cheating, and now you can't. That's not my problem. That's your problem. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen. There's no way I like how her immediate reaction to everything is just flip. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. Surprised he hasn't been knocked out cold from one of those yet, though. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. That's for you. What kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yeah, you got that singular thing right. Well, yes, maybe. Ah, there you have it, you see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, I'm in handcuffs on a boat. Yeah. So, like, that doesn't take deducing. The ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it a deduction. More plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Is that even true? Do you really think he even hits 51%? Do you really think... I honestly find it hard to believe he might hit 50.00000000000000000000000000001%. Huh. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. I feel like my gut tells me to jokingly just call him Sherlock Holmes for the whole series, but that somehow we get shut down. Like, somehow we get NDA. The Sherlock Holmes Foundation finds us and is like, stop it. It shuts us down. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same, the imitable, actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? You must ask him what he's deduced. He'll have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Well, first things first. Mr. Sholmes, what do you make of this? Quiet. When I'm ruminating in the course of my deductions, nothing must disturb my mind. Oh, sorry. An Indian curry, perhaps. What's he ruminating about? The lunch menu? I mean, I haven't actually tried Indian curry. But I imagine it's probably a bit spicy for my taste buds. But I should try it sometime. I had Thai curry, and I love it. I had Japanese curry, and I love it. But I haven't had Indian curry. I should try that. Honestly, just an excuse to try different types of curries. I should take any of them. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? No, I have no her. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rand's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You're the protagonist of a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. You've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backwards. Backwards? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everybody? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Also more types. Ooh, okay. I still haven't tried all of the types of, like... I definitely haven't tried every type of curry by any stretch. But, like, even if I just go by the menu at my local Thai place, I've only tried, like, half of them. Oh, man. Massaman curry? I haven't ordered Thai food for a long time, and I might just have to order some curry tomorrow, now that I'm talking about it. Tomorrow might have to be a curry day. It's been a while since I've ordered Thai food. Honestly, I am such a sucker for just Thai fried rice that usually, whenever I order takeout, I usually order 2 meals, because some places have a minimum, and I like, if I'm going to spend some money anyway, to have 2 days worth of it. Butter chicken? I don't know if I've tried butter chicken curry, but I mean, I like all of those words. Butter, chicken, curry. Yes, please. But I don't know if I've actually tried it. So that's definitely going on the list of things I must try. I assume you said that's Indian, an Indian style of curry? Oh, hold on. Indian restaurants near me. Alright, I'm just gonna leave that list open and I'll peruse it. Maybe tomorrow will be the day I get some butter chicken curry. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what places around me. It's funny because I grew up with Indian neighbors. And the friendliest people, they were the nicest neighbors I've ever had. And I've had good neighbors since then, but like, they were always the best. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna save that too. Not gonna read it now on stream, but like, save it that. But like, the only time we really shared cooking was when we were going to leave that place. That's when I lived in Stamford. And when we were going to move out, they cooked a whole meal for us and used as little spice as humanly possible, and it was still spicy for us, but it was tasty. But like, since then I haven't really. I think I went one time to an Indian restaurant when I lived in Astoria in New York. I think that's it. I don't remember what I had there. That was a long ways back. I remember the naan from that restaurant. That was delicious. Oh, they had like garlic butter. I think I ate more of that than whatever my entree was. I remember liking the entree, though I don't remember what I ordered. But I remember, I mean, I'm the type of person who can go through an entire loaf of just like bread and butter at a restaurant. Like, you know, you give me some warm bread and some butter. So honestly, I could just eat that. Like, I'm okay. But I clearly need to expand some culinary options. Deduction, you see, to me, is a science, logical reasoning in its purest form. Science. Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. Excuse me. Furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. Ditch American cheese. I will never ditch American cheese for the things American cheese is good for. Being cheap, being melty, putting in omelets, putting on ham and cheese sandwiches, grilled cheeses. Sorry, you can hate me for it, but like, whatever. I'm gonna eat the food I like. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, correct. I've eaten it raw. I'd say it's still better on things, but I've eaten it raw. I've done it on stream, just because I don't understand why people hate it. So, yeah, the thing that could bring all the world together is every culinary country's version of like something savory wrapped in dough. All of those, just bring them all together. Give me any type of... Ah, hey, Potts. Welcome to... We're talking about food again somehow. Well, it's not somehow. It's his fault. It's Holmes' fault. Sholmes' fault. Sorry. Don't cancel my stream. Please. Also, Potts, yeah, I saw that picture when I was setting up stream and I was like... yeah. He brought up curry. And I had to tangent that I had never tried Indian curry. He specifically said he had come from India.
Objection!
I saw that and I was like, Potts has to see this immediately. I need to send it to Pancake too. I didn't, but I have to. After this stream, I'm sending it to Pancake. Don't worry. They are not immune. I just had minimal time. Started to stream. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. You look me in the eye and claim that. Oh, of course I will. So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction. And fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. I do not see how he could possibly conceal himself. He's taller than everyone else here, he's dressed like that, and he doesn't speak Russian. Or, I mean, he clearly speaks Japanese, but because he's, in theory, talking to us in Japanese right now, but... Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. I imagine it must be. That was... I can only imagine that was a stressful... Give or take about a week, right? But, like, the problem was found fairly readily enough. But as far as things went, I'm glad it recovered quickly. Problem was located, replacements were found, things were fixed. But, like, geez, also, yeah. It sounds stressful as hell. The very moment I laid eyes on this scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? Two facts, is that? Mr. Holmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. What were they? Allow me to elucidate to you. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Well, you definitely screwed up that one. Hold on, Mr. Holmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed, knock on wood, this is the final repercussion branching out from that strike. I do not know how to read that word. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Ah, okay. Do you really think Kazuma-san could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their heads. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderob might be the name of the killer, a certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. You found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. And school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people. I had no idea. I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. He also has a science gun. He has a science gun, and he also has a photographic printer on his person. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered.
Hey, master.
Before the body...
I
Oh,
am mad
it's Sholmes.
scientist. It's so cool.
Yep, a science gun.
Son of a bitch.
He has a science gun. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. It's a gun, but science. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Do you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? I don't speak Russian. Certainly, if it interests you. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I don't even know how to start. Yeah, we got a full-on animated cutscene. It's nifty. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your introduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean? Oh, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Ah yes, the more sordid details. That was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary Vilin Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. In Russian just to read that. The thing is, I wouldn't even know how to type it, otherwise I would text-to-speech it. But, like, I don't know how to type that. If I could copy and paste it, but I can't. It's not even on PC. I could, like, Google Translate on my phone, but that wouldn't give me a pronunciation. It would give me a translation. This vessel made a port call in Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? Sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary, one who would kill the very man who helped him escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, Vilin Bolshevik. Vilin Bolshevik? No, how could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learnt to revolutionize your appearance as well. Of course. Obviously. Let me just revolutionize my appearance. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list, need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Again, I would never do that to Graha. Ever. Ah, yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all these particulars in the article. The deeds the man had perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters? I wonder. Yeah, apparently we've murdered 16 people, we're Russian, and we're on our way to London to blow up the Crystal Tower. You heard him, he didn't stutter. I don't know if he made any sense, but he didn't stutter. What about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in this article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. See, I started, but he didn't. Where even is it anyway? It's an Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. I can't be bothered to throw this away. Here, you take it. The article about the revolutionary has been entered into the court record. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. The back? Cast your eyes over it sometimes if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. Can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know! I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. Pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. Also, hey Kane, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Herlock Sholmes. This is still not done. Jeez, yeah, I mean, the first case took us like 6 hours. That first case was meaty. Most of the first cases are like, here's a 2-hour tutorial. This was like, sit down, shut up. Also, we have added all the sound effects from that first case, so you will occasionally get the British shut up in objection, which is wonderful. It's not very likely because we now have a few objections in there, but it's in there. It's good. Also, how you doing, Kane? Hope you had a good weekend.
Objection!
Would have been funny if that was the one. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina in the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Yeah, it's been working out today. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. A hot Monday morning? I don't look forward to the heat. It's going to come here sooner or later, but thankfully not today. She is, of course, a talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? No idea, but I'm quite sure. It must be an unbelievable sum of money. Flirted, yeah. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is besides herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlovia and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance on all ports with sailings to Great Britain. The laughs. Oh man, yeah, I don't envy any of y'all. No, if it was 84 outside right now, I'd be. No, it's too early for that. It's too early. It's too early. I thought it was too hot last week when it hit like mid 70s, and that was too hot for me. For this time of year. Oh wait, I didn't actually read her line, did I? Trying to hit square. Can't go back now. Okay. But I'm going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. The article about the ballerina has been entered into the court record. Yeah, good. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. Oh, apparently. Okay. It does have a chat log, you just couldn't access it there. To be fair, the OG3 Ace Attorney games, no chat log, so it's nice to have it here. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Yep, no. Every time we accidentally skip something in Ace Attorney, and do like click it again or just be like, well, it's gone now. Goodbye. Yes, we still haven't actually left this room. We just woke up in the boat. We're just introduced to Herlock Sholmes and are starting our investigation. Before we started talking, well, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe, for a moment, the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaging in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think he should read his private writings. He could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It's my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. I mean, at least in theory, we're literally talking Japanese right now. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. The 3D, really, they do super well. Oh, what is the science gun do? So, when we started this case, it showed a quick, like, actual animated cutscene of him looking at the whole... Oh, elucidate. Gotcha. Of looking at this crime scene before we woke up, because we were in that wardrobe, sleeping. Don't worry about it. And when he approaches the wardrobe, it had a sign on it, and he takes out a gun, but he puts a vial of, like, something into it, and then, like, what almost looks like a plunger on the end of it, and squeezes the trigger, and a gas comes out, and it shows, like, the handprints on the wardrobe. So it's very much looks like a revolver. It is a revolver, but it's not shooting bullets, it's firing mist. That is all we've seen from, like... That's all we've seen from that cinematic. So... Yeah, of course it's a revolver. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah. But yeah, they did a damn good job with the 3D on this. I gotta say. We were praising it earlier, how they captured the style and the minimal motion of your standard sprite-based Phoenix Wright game, and then just made that into 3D. And that transition should have been harder, but, like, it's so good. It's so good. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? Sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Yeah, they arc-sifted it, yeah. 100% they did. And anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. I feel like when I speak as him, I have to, like, stand up straighter. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray, be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering! Sayonara, bonsai, mikato. Nado nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Goodbye. A type of tree. I don't know nado nado. I don't know the I've heard Mikado, but I don't know the definition of it off the top of my head. That timeline. I haven't played those yet, but they just got re-released, so after this we're going to play. So we're going to, but I've never played those. I had only ever played the first Phoenix Wright before, so we're making our way through. When this is done, now that they've all been re-released. Oh, yeah, okay. I was like, I know that from somewhere. Yes, gotcha. Like, etc. Oh, okay, cool. So he knows goodbye, a popular style of, not popular, but a known style of pruning trees to make them smaller, a title for a leader, and so on and so forth. That's all the Japanese he knows. Huh. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. That's a great laughing emote. That animation, man. Look at him still going. Look at him still going. So what was all that showing off about before that? You would be so kind as to show me. I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah. I am much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. Second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. It looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. Never heard that expression before. Fictional detective do a joke. It's amazing that just simply because of them naming him what they did, it took so long for this game to get localized. This game wasn't localized for years because the actual Sherlock Holmes estate was like, can't call him that. Can't do it. Can't localize that. Whatever you did in Japan is fine. Whatever. You can't bring it. Cannot translate it. You can't do it. They eventually clearly worked out Sherlock Holmes as a possible way to do it. But it's so stupid that they wanted to localize. Like, not that I would have been able to get to the game earlier, but a lot of people were probably waiting for it and excited for it. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Cosimo's diary has been entered into the court record. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being at least. Do you have somewhere to go? Okay, because of I hope not, yeah. As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. I love that motion. Just... The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Must keep moving. Can't get ill. Goodbye. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. You think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Yeah. Oh, please. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You literally did. In the animated thing, you're like, the culprit of this case will be right here. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I would argue that Phoenix Wright and Danganronpa definitely ascend past your average visual novel in terms of popularity. I know way more people who would never touch a normal visual novel, but have played or know Danganronpa, Ace Attorney. Oh yeah, I love the games, don't get me wrong, but like it's almost, while they are undeniably visual novels, it's tough because people will play these games, love them, but still be like, nah, I won't play a visual novel. Even though it's like, but you just did, and you loved it, and you had a good time, and like, you should play more visual novels. The good ones. There's a sea of crap out there, but like, just ask people for recommendations. Again, I say this every time it ever comes up. Just play 428 Shibuya Scramble. The entire world needs to play 428 Shibuya Scramble, okay? That's it. I just need someone outside of the Viperland circle, anyone that I've ever passed in my entire life to be like, yeah, I know what 428 Shibuya Scramble is. It's maddening to have a game that good that only the people who watched me play it seem to know exists. That is maddening. Like, I can't go to any other person that I've ever met and be like, 428 Shibuya Scramble, how good was that game? And they'll be like, what? You're high. That sounds stupid. just leave me alone. I didn't mean to call you out specifically, Potts, and it's not just you by any stretch at all. And also furthering that, I get it. Visual novels have a lot of bad eggs, we'll say, and a higher barrier to entry. Most of them are just a book with visuals, and a lot of people aren't looking for that in their gaming time. I get it. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I am saying they should try out 428 Shibuya Scrabble. Anyway, I would have said you have the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. What, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyways, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. That laugh is so good. It's full back. Oh, man. Just full back snapping backwards. Excuse me. I mean, to be fair, until streaming, I had only ever played Phoenix Wright and Danganronpa as well. Like, I was the same type. The only reason I expanded my repertoire into visual novels was because Steins Gate the anime was so good that I was like, I should read the Steins Gate visual novel. I loved the anime. Let's see that source material. And even then I didn't try to read more visual novels. It was only because I was like, I want to share Steins Gate with stream viewers. And I guess I could use that as an excuse to explore more visual novels, right? Like, I mean, it did all start with 428, but that was supposed to be a one-off joke. I got the game for like $7. I was like, tee-hee, look, live-action visual novel, this will be silly. Until it only took 4 hours for all of us to be like, more. We have to finish this game. We need more of that. Literally, that's what started the entire shifting of Sundays of Viperland. Was just one joke stream of 428. That's it. You can click all you want, Pots. The power of visual novels need to be praised. Yeah, yeah, visual novels. I mean, I still say Steins Gate OG, watch the anime. If you're not sold on reading a visual novel, watch the anime on that one. Like, don't do others. Double clicks. Yeah, that's fine. Just because it's fine. Yeah, it really did all start with 428, and then we just kind of went from there. I'm glad I decided to go through all the Side V games and not just Steins Gate, because for better and for worse, the Side V series has altered my life. Mostly for better. But there's that one or two scenes from, Chaos that are unforgettable. Yeah. Forever change. Yeah, Ramen. I wasn't going to say it, but, yeah. Now he's just being plain rude. And now we're committed. Though I'm glad, as much as I enjoy the, less common visual novels we've gone through, I'm super glad to finally be going through the Ace Attorney stuff. Like, Ace Attorney 1 I had played, but 2 and 3 were a blast. Ghost Trick was phenomenal. So glad. I'm going to call that a visual novel, even though, it's fine. Oh, Grimm is a new ticket. Okay, cool. Hold on. I will forget that, so let me just add that real quick. That I need to do at the moment. Edit message. Grimm's. Whew. Got him. I think Grimm has 2 new tickets then. The last hours one I gave to Grimm was a 5K hours. So I believe Grimm is due 2 tickets, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Grim is due 2 tickets. Alright. That's no worries. Tickets are a powerful thing. But they're a rare thing, too. Unless you're Grim, Birdie, Mitz. Some people have accumulated 2 tickets. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as... Oh yeah, so the last thing I'm going to say before we actually commit to going back to the game. I'm going to. So I'm going to go back to the game. This is the last bit of the tangent for right now. As much as I just wanted to finish the thought of, as much as I, like, had... As much as I was enjoying doing other visual novels, some of the things I might not normally do, some that are a little less known, totally enjoying that. So glad I returned for these. Go ahead, click away. You know that the clicks only postpone things further by distracting me. Not 10%. So it's the last bit of the tangent. I'm glad I came back for Ace Attorney. The trilogy was a blast. I'm so glad Ghost Trick got a remake because I wouldn't have had the even thought to play that without the remake. The remake's fantastic, wonderful, and I'm a case and a 10th or whatever into this, and I'm having a blast already. So, like, Shutagumi. Yeah. Good job. Cool. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? Huh? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? That is Missile. Yes, correct. Missile is undeniably the best. Like, yes. GM backlog, known as hell. At this rate, I do own the game. You are able to ticket it whenever you want. You just have to let me know because I have to install it. I don't keep it installed. So, like, you can absolutely ticket it. I own the game. It is a viable ticket. Absolutely. But you got to give me a heads up because I need to install it. That's it. Yeah. I mean, as much as I enjoy sometimes having those big emotional visual novel moments, and they are memorable, sometimes it's good to just laugh at pun names and do goofy stuff and get thrown all the time. Like, both of those are good parts of visual novels. I love the goofiness of the Ace Attorney series. Honestly, that's the thing that keeps me going with them more than anything. The writing's great. The courtroom stuff is great. I love it. But it's the humor that gets me more than anything in these games. I love them. I really do. The pun names, all of it. All of it. Wouldn't trade any of it. No, it's games. Who do play as damn? It's damn right, yeah. My PS5 is fat, yes. Have left in it? Not enough. Trust me, Sor, not much. Not much. And the humor is so good. And the fact that they got the humor to translate, I guess the tangent isn't done, but y'all kick-started this back up. The fact that the humor was localized so well, too, is huge. Because a poor localization could have butchered it. But even then, even if they butchered the localization, which they didn't, I love it, just the animations alone sell so much of it. Just so much of just Phoenix's animations and the whole cast sell every bit of it. We just saw somebody get flapped around a courtroom by the swan on their hat, pooping out chicks as they got ascended to heaven afterwards. It doesn't matter what you write. That tells the whole story. That's everything. I mean, you can, but at some point it would end up forced. A forced tangent, that's no fun. I mean, you can. I wouldn't stop you if you were like, I want to do that. But I think I'd say it's a poor use for a ticket, but you got like 6 in the chamber. Who cares? After Cosmosan spent his dying moment struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? No, I wouldn't veto that. Nah. Especially, we've tangented this far. It's only a half hour left in stream. We finished the case we were working on. I wouldn't veto it. I'd wonder why you'd use a ticket on it, but I wouldn't veto. Just gonna roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I do love that she has the ability to just judo flip him at any moment. That is wonderful. It's perfect. It's perfect. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. Oh, jeez, I have never been judo flipped, but I imagine it's an experience. Like, that's got to be quite unlike any other thing you normally experience. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on the ship. Suppose that shows just how important it was to him. Now he's gone. I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course.
Tasty.
Begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. I like that this follows the ghost trick concept of a whole roast chicken has just one bone through the whole thing. Just, you put the little on one end of it and the bone just goes to the rest of it. That's it, just the one. Hey, flip. Woo! Or was it more like, oh, hey, friend, could you give me a flip? And you cook it in a frying pan, of course, you understand. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? It's just Sophie. I mean, so far we're 2 for 2. I'd like to think at some point that will break, but we're 2 for 2 for so far. So, no, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant that all the more for me. Oh, true. That's a good one, too. Oh, no. Does that mean poor Kazuma-san spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? That would be truly tragic. It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. There's nothing on this table at all. Plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. Seigi? The Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away in the ship. Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? Can't win. Talk to him in a second. Check work. Oh, it's so good. Without that, it would be a pain. But great addition. Very, very, very wonderful. I went for help and the crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed. Quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin. That's for sure. That painful history with learning because of visual novels? Oh, I'm sure, yeah. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, it's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There'd be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles up and down my spine. Certain word sounds a whole lot like certain scenes of visual novels use a lot. Ah, yes. Okay. Oh, look over there. Crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. But I suppose I could try. Extremely confused. I can imagine. Yeah. Confusion would be abound. Is that something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no. It's just that crewman standing by the door. Can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir? Yes? Yes, what can I do for you? Oh. A master of disguise, this man. I recognize that face, but it can't be. What are you going to wipe that on? You're all white out. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Oh, well, I'm sure it's fine. Damn it, Robin. I guess I'll have to find a voice for him. I hadn't really settled. Yeah, I specifically was like, I can't really settle on a voice for him. I hope he doesn't keep coming back, and yet here we are. I should have known. I should have known when I said those words. I should have known. I don't hate him as a character. I just haven't really settled on a voice for him. No, we did not. It was not the poison. The poison was a different type of poison. So it was not that. So, no, we have no idea. Hello again. What are you doing here? Honestly, I feel... I'll figure. Okay, what you got? Pearl, but unironic? No. It's not because I think it doesn't fit. It's because I want to wait before I try to introduce a Pearl voice into this game. Every time, because I thought the same thing for Pearl. I was like, Pearl will be a one-off character. I'll do a voice that hurts my throat a bit because it'll be funny. If he's a recurring character, I want to hold off if I can. Raven voice. That's still swapped between like 4 or 5 voices, but it's not a not doable one. That I feel like I have to go back through those because those were a lot of fun. But I feel like I went through like the only voice I was yeah, the old man voice, yeah, for sure. I feel like the only Vesperia voice I was consistent on was Yuri, because to me it was just Sonic Adventure, Sonic the Hedgehog. Not just Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 Sonic. That was Yuri Lowell. Like, if you go back through those, and I mentioned it at some point during those playthroughs, like, most of the times when if I have to swap between characters and I go back to Yuri, I have to do the Sonic, like, heh, like that little bit to, like, recenter, like, yep, okay, there we are. And only Pearl, yeah, it was funnier with Pearl. It would fit him well enough. Like, I definitely don't think it doesn't, like, I agree it fits him. But no. But I feel like I'm going to reserve that for comedy. What are you doing here? Oh yeah, go ahead. Like, I was going to go with Old Man because it works. But, like, what you got? I only got, like, 3 voices, so you know. So, 1 second. Jameson Price voice. Ah. I feel like I don't know how I would do that per se. Like, coffee. Damn you, Robin. Like, I can hear his voice in my head, but I don't know how I would produce that. That's really just kind of lower, right? lower with authority, lower with a bit of like gravel and power. Like, I think that I don't know. I think that should be my line. Now, see, that sounds too like shonen protagonisty. I was so stunned when I first saw you, my heart stopped. Yeah, again, I feel like we're getting shonen protagonist vibes there. I'll roll with it. It's not a bad voice, but like, I don't know if I'm coming across. That's definitely not coming across Jameson Price. I don't know. I'd have to practice that. Yeah, we missed. I never claimed to be a voice actor here. Never once. You spitting something that's iconic. It's that. It'd be like VA practice stream. That's fair. I know. Just messing. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know how I'd go about that. I'd have to find like a course or something to follow, or just some funny voices to try, I guess. But for like, if I'd be doing impressions, I feel like if I were to try to improve and change my voice acting, I feel like the way I would do it would be to try to learn an accent or two, like tips on how to do like a good like British accent or like Irish accent, or Russian seems to come up often enough in games. I feel like that would be more a way to expand things than to try to nail a certain person, which is impressive, don't get me wrong. I've seen people who can do like a flawless Peter Griffin, and I'm impressed. But like, I feel like that doesn't expand as much, per se. I'd speak like Nia. Well, see, if it was just, if I could get accents by osmosis, I'd already have a British accent with the amount of Doctor Who and IT Crowd I've watched. But I don't. So, I clearly cannot osmosis an accent. So, I wish I could. Maybe if I went to England, maybe I could osmose it that way. But I feel like just experiencing some media of it doesn't quite do it. Nearly stopped. Well, I didn't even pay attention to what he actually said, because I was trying. Okay. You see, it just sounds like off Corsica. I mean, that's not bad either. Oh yeah, no. For sure, Seth MacFarlane is actually amazing. Like, I've had times in my life where I love Family Guy, times where I'm indifferent, times where I'm like, I don't really like it. But objectively speaking, Seth MacFarlane is a phenomenal voice actor. Hard stop. I think he's a pretty funny comedian as a comedian, but he is just so talented as a voice actor. They're just strand you in Wales for a month to help you learn. Unless that ticket is a plane ticket, a housing ticket, and a food ticket, no, you cannot. Received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship. Again, you certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. Never expected to see this man on board. I feel like if I would try for Jameson Price, it's the low voice of that, but like the like almost the Sholmes like you give him a little more force. Sholmes has that little extra oomph. It's almost the combination of those two. Which is funny because, like, even when he plays a character like Coffee Dad, who is legitimately, he doesn't really have gravel, but for me, it's harder for me to go down without graveling. Because I have a natural, I don't know how to de-gravel. It's already there. It's hard for me to get rid of it. I agree, you are correct, but I don't know how to do that with my voice. Because you've heard me in person. My normal speaking voice it's mostly, that's why I always give protagonists my normal speaking voice, because fuck it, I don't want to do anything hard for that. Do I think my normal speaking voice necessarily fits Phoenix or Naruhodo? Maybe, but I don't want to kill my voice on the protagonist. You know, it's the right thing to do. Never expected to see this man on board. Like, I don't know how to de-gravel. It's never something I've sat down and tried to do. It's just my voice. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. And he can spread fake blood everywhere. Not fake blood. Blood that could confuse other people. Everywhere. Yeah, it's... Again, it's not something I've ever really sat down and tried to do in any meaningful fashion. Correct. I don't know what's wrong with him. I assume he might, but I don't know. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? Excuse me. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. You failed that. Really hard. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. Todd Habercorn voice. Oh, I can't do Todd justice. I'm not unhinged enough. I know nothing of the human being Todd Habercorn. I just know that when he's having fun on a roll, it goes full unhinged and it is the best. Know nothing of the person. I am sure he as a human being is not unhinged. But man... I'd have to do... Like, I don't think I could pull that off reasonably. But if I were to try, I'd have to sit down and watch, like, a best-of compilations of, like, Greed and FMA again or something. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Actually, I haven't had a sip in a bit. That could help. Assassinated? How could that have even been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should prepare for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I am undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. But I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night, every day, except for last night, the entirety of the night. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin, not here in the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. Thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. Suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? Just the same as when you're in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present panel. choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes, I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective with the evidence he needs to persuade the captain. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-san wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it... You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins the next voices. That ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. All right then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promised you that I'd lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave this cabin at last. Move. Alright. Let's see what we can find out. You know what? I'm gonna leave it here. We'll save it. We'll get to see... If it was going to go straight to the room, I was just going to do a preview of what the room looked like. But if we're stopping to go to the hallway first anyway, we'll leave it here. We'll pick this up again next week. Sunday, usual time. I think we're going with just what we've been going with the past few weeks, which means tomorrow Yakuza, Tuesday Unicorn, Thursday Dragon's Dogma, Friday, Saturday we'll figure something out, and Sunday this. Friday, Saturday could be more of those three, or if we're fitting something else in, that's a good place to fit them in. We'll see. But for now, pretty damn good. Game be fun. Who would have thought? Crazy, I know. Looking forward to seeing how we get out of this one. Locked room mystery with us being the only one in there. Yeah, this is going to be a hard one to find some evidence for, but we're working on it. You know, we'll manage. I was running out for chaos. True. Yeah, we can try to set a day for that. Don't know what the chaos will be, but chaotic, you know. In the meantime, we got ourselves a monster equipped. It is gone. Ooh, I did. But ooh, that's a quote there.
Objection!
There you go. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. This has been Viper of Viperland, and I will see you all next time.